Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can anyone hear me? Yay! Okay, I will mute myself a little longer and then come back. Oh, there is a viewer again. Yay! Hello there. So we still have 10 minutes and it's kind of awkward here because I have streamed once in my life before and that was like a year ago. But if you want, you can use the chat and we can talk a little bit until more people show up and we can start. Oh, there are more people. Hello. Okay, so I will try to switch to the Kahoot screen now. And it seems to work. If you want to join, please use ideally your Discord name so I can find you in case you win. Because as I wrote in the description, you can win a DLC for Victoria 3 here. Dawn of Wonder. And now we also have the Kahoot music. I hope that's not a problem. Well, so far there are only 2 viewers, so you might have a chance even if you don't have a lot of knowledge about it. And some questions are actually like you guess a number or a time, so those might be something that works for you. So I noticed that there is some latency, so I put the time you have to answer the questions up a little bit, and I hope it will work, but who knows? Hello, Cypher. Hopefully there are more people, because I actually want to test this for ModCon, and hopefully there will be like more people than 2 at ModCon to participate in the Kahoot. And so it would be great to see how it acts and with more people. Oh no, we lost a player. Ah. Oh good. So right now, I guess you two have a 50-50 chance of winning. Well, I guess now it's 100% chance of winning. So I think I have 11 questions, and some of them give double points. And it's not just the questions where you have to choose an answer. There are different kinds too, because I got a license for it, so I can host more people. And we will see how this works. Well, I also have other keys that I could give you. So if you win, we can talk about whether you have all DLCs or if there is one that you don't have yet. Uh-oh, it's 8 o'clock and there are only 2 of you. I think we can wait like 1 minute more, and then I guess you both have very high chances to winning if no one else joins. Okay, I guess it's just the two of you. Are you both ready? Okay, then let's start. So first question, in what year did Louis Pasteur invent pasteurization? And we have 1800 till 1900. You have to choose the right year. So the correct answer is 1864, and I guess you both are a little off of that. I also made some notes for you. So he invented it in 1864, but heating up food was already known in China since at least 1117 AD, and there were like 3 other people who invented it kind of before him, but Pasteur was the first one who was keeping it at a lower temperature, and he was specifically working with wine. He later also worked on beer as a kind of rivalry with Germany. So he went to Great Britain and experimented on beer there. But now let's look at the points. Sadly, you both don't have any points, but I guess we can continue. I also think the latency is a little high, so I hope it works for all the questions, but we will see. Let's continue. So this time you have to put your cursor thingy on a specific spot, and you have to find the mouse that is hidden in this loading screen. Okay, so one of you found it. Hooray! This loading screen, like all other loading screens, was created by our artist Angel, and this one depicts Louis Pasteur in his, I guess, study room with a glass of wine. Maybe you can tell me real quick if how like slow it is to load for you. Well, actually, I should look that up myself. Let me open my internet real quick. And then I can see. Okay, Let's go ahead. Yeah, it looks pretty bad. So about 15 seconds. I guess I will have to put the time for the questions up for next time. I'm sorry that it takes so long to load on YouTube. But let's continue with the next question, which is a normal quiz. Alexandre Yersin discovered the pathogen causing the plague. What nationalities did he have? So, the correct answer is he was Swiss and French. He was born in Switzerland, and then he went to work under Pasteur in France and got the French nationality in 1888. Then he worked for 2 months for Koch, who was another famous biologist. And after that, he was a ship's doctor from 1890 to 1894. And he's also famous for finding the pathogen for the plague, Yersinia pestis. And that's also the topic for the next question, actually. So, oh, we have a new player. Hello, new player. Let us continue, and I hope you have enough time to answer the question. I'm sorry that it takes so long to get to you. So, this one gives double points. Where did Yersin discover the plague pathogen? Okay, the correct answer is Hong Kong. And let me look up what I wrote down about that. So in 1894, he was tasked by the French government to study the plague outbreak there. And he worked in a straw hut, which was also depicted in the picture that you saw. That picture was also made by Angel. And funny enough, first there was a Japanese biologist who was sent there by the Japanese government. And the Japanese guy got a lot of support, like he had everything necessary and had the support of the local authorities too. And he even had access to the newest inventions like an incubator. Meanwhile, Yersin had to bribe sailors to get access to corpses to figure out what could cause the plague. But because he didn't use an incubator, he was actually able to grow the bacteria better because it grows best at temperatures between 28 and 30 degrees Celsius. He also noticed that the plague killed rats, but he didn't make the connection between rats being a host for the fleas that actually transferred the plague. So now let's see who is in the lead. Oh, congratulations, Cypher. Let us go to the next question then. It's a puzzle, so you have to order these events by year. And the top one is the longest time ago. So you basically have to figure out which of these events is the oldest and which one is the newest, the oldest being on the top, the newest on the bottom. And this time you should have more than enough time, hopefully. Oh, we got the first answer. Very good. I hope the other two that are also playing can answer as well before the time runs out. Okay, so two of you were right and someone had it wrong, sadly. Let's take a look at these events real quick. So, in 1789, Jenner found or published his work about the smallpox vaccine. Others had already done experiments on it, but he was the first who established a link between cowpox and smallpox and kind of proved that cowpox protects against smallpox. Then we have the Raven, which was published in 1845. It's a famous poem by Poe, and it's actually featured in Morgenröte as his bestseller. The company Carl Zeiss was founded just 1 year later, and they produced and produce some of the best microscopes. And another fun fact is that the company Carl Zeiss is actually now a foundation, which was founded by Ernst Abbe, who was, I think, a partner of Carl Zeiss. And the foundation, the Carl Zeiss Stiftung, is helping scientists and gets the money from the companies and then uses it to support science, which I found really nice. And then we have the International Committee of the Red Cross, which was founded in 1863 by among others, Henri Dunant and Guillaume-Henri Dufour. And you might know Dufour because I named one update of Morgenröte for him. He was like a general engineer, cartographer, mountaineer. He won the Swiss Civil War. He was a general back then, and he did a lot of things. He was also friends with Napoleon III, by the way. Okay. Now let's see what this changes. So Cypher is still ahead, but the other two are not that far behind actually. And I think two other questions have double points, so you still have a chance. So let's go. Next question is a true or false. The bob haircut, which appeared in the 1910s and 1920s, was inspired by Joan of Arc. I really hope the time is enough here, because if the latency is like 15 to 20 seconds, you might not be able to answer the questions. Uh-oh. Doesn't look good. Oh, at least one answer. Come on. Oh, I'm sorry. I will fix this for next time. But let me tell you about the this haircut. So, there was a guy, and I'm going to slaughter his last name, because he was called Antoni Cierplikowski, who was a Polish guy. He was born in Poland, I think. And then he moved to France, and there he was called Monsieur Antoine. And in 1909, he started cutting the bob haircut, which was in fact inspired by Joan of Arc. And he, among other things, also started the trend of dyeing hair blue. He was the first to cut the garçon cut, and he also did blonde highlights. And in 1924, he opened a salon in New York. Funny enough, though, most bob haircuts weren't cut in a hair salon, but in a barber shop, because the hairstylists were like, no, we don't want to cut off the hair. And the barbers were like, yeah, sure, let's chop it off. So, let's continue to the next question. I think there is only one right or wrong question, so hopefully you will be able to answer the other questions. I'm sorry. So, let's see. It's another quiz. Which instrument was present on the first few journeys of the Hindenburg? Oh. This also only has 30 seconds. Please have time to answer. Well, at least 2 people were able to answer. So, let me tell you about the instrument. It was indeed an aluminum piano, and it was in the music salon. And it was already removed in the first year of traveling because it was too heavy and they wanted to save some weight. Funny enough, it is visible in the Indiana Jones movie Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, when the Nazi guy gets punched and thrown out of the airship. Because that airship in the movie is actually kind of similar to how the Hindenburg looked. It seems to be a little bigger on the inside. If you're interested in it, there is a recording on YouTube of this specific aluminum piano. But now let's look at the ranking. Ooh, Michael is getting close. Nice. So, let's continue with the next question. It's a puzzle again, and I hope you have enough time because it gives double points. So, you have to order these nations by victories in the Schneider Trophy. On the top, you place the one nation with the most wins, and on the bottom, the one with the least wins. Okay, yeah, you should have enough time here. It's like 1.5 minutes, so that should work well. By the way, this is the newest loading screen for Morgenröte. It's a Schneider Trophy Cup, an imaginary one, in Venice. And the 2 planes are the Italian and the UK one. We got the first answer, yay! Second answer is in. Only one person missing now. Ooh. So I guess you're all wrong. Let me get my notes. So let's start with France. France won the first race and then never won again. Italy won 3 times in a row, But the first of these 3 races they were later disqualified, otherwise they would have won the Schneider Cup, because the nation that first wins the Schneider Trophy 3 times kind of ends the whole Schneider Trophy race. The Italy also won 1 more time in 1926. The US won 2 races in 1923 and 1925. The UK won in 1914, 1922, 1927, 29 and 31. The last 3 were consecutive, and therefore they ended the trophy and won the wonderfully looking cup. A fun fact about it is also that the plane they used in the last race, the Supermarine S6B, was designed by the same guy who designed the Supermarine Spitfire. You might know that one from World War II. Okay, so I hope you get a few points at least. Let's see. It doesn't give any points if you have the order wrong. That's kind of sad. I hoped it would give some points. But I guess that's the case now. Let's continue to the next quiz with double points. How was Julien Moineau able to win the 17th stage of the Tour de France of 1935? This is one of my favorite stories. I hope some of you will get it right. Oh no, the time is running out. So, he was able to win with free beer. Imagine a very hot day in France, and the racers were riding a very long distance under the very hot sun. And then, in the distance, they saw people waving at them and waving them to a place, and there was free beer. And everyone obviously went there and took some beer and drank it, and they even took some with them for the journey, and there were accidents because some people fell over the parked bikes, and so it was a huge chaos. And in this chaos, Julien Moineau was able to get ahead and just ride away. And then he won the 17th stage of that Tour de France. Some people assume that he was actually responsible for organizing this free beer because he wanted to win. But can't be sure about that. So, Michael took over Cypher. Very interesting. And we have, I think, 2 or 3 more questions. So let's continue with the next one, which is another question where you have to guess the year. You have to figure out what the age of the youngest king of Spain was. I hope the time is enough. I put it up. Oh no, there wasn't enough time. But I guess most of you wouldn't have gotten it right anyways, because it's 0 years. Yes, the youngest king of Spain was king at 0. And it was Alfonso XIII, who became king right after his birth because his father died when his mother was, I think, 3 months pregnant. And so as soon as he was born, he was king of Spain. He ruled then from 1886 to 1931, which is actually quite long. And I think he was then deposed by the Republic. So when I learned that, I didn't believe it at first, because it's quite crazy, honestly. So let's continue to the points, which obviously are still the same, sadly, because you didn't have enough time. I'm sorry. But now we have one last question, and let's see what it's about. It's a quiz. Who composed the tune of the Star-Spangled Banner? This one is a really hard one, I think. Well, they are all kind of hard. Okay, this time at least it seems like you have enough time to answer. I guess I should just put it to 1 minute and 30. So, one person was right. It's John Stafford Smith. This was a really mean question, because Francis Scott Key wrote the lyrics to it, but he didn't compose the music. That was this British guy called John Stafford Smith. And he composed it for the Anacreontic Society. Originally, it was called the Anacreontic Song. Hard words. And that Anacreontic Society was a club of amateur musicians, and it was named after a Greek poet. I think his name was Anacreon. I honestly didn't know any of that before I looked it up in Wikipedia. And the other ones, Julia Ward Howe, I think, was the one for the Battle Hymn of the Republic. I think she wrote the lyrics for that. John Williams is obviously not it. He is still alive. George Gershwin and Louis Moreau Gottschalk were both famous American composers. Okay, so luckily you all were able to answer this, but only one person was right. So let's look at the points and at the podium. On the third place we have Chizzard. On the second place there is Cypher. And on the first place we have, huge surprise, Michael. So thank you very much for playing with me. I'm, as I said, sorry that the latency was so long. So thank you for being my guinea pigs, I guess. And hopefully I can figure out how to do this better in the future. Michael, if you could send me a private message in Discord, that would be great. Then, or I guess I could also send a private message to you on YouTube. Possibly. But it's best if you just send me a private message, so I know who it is. Congratulations again. Thank you for playing. I hope you had fun with me and with my quiz, and maybe you even learned something. I think I will stay here for a little bit if you have any questions or want to talk about anything, but I will switch back to this window here. Let me close this. So if you have any feedback, feel free to tell me how you liked it and whether the questions were too hard or too easy. I assume not too easy. Thank you too, Michael. Yeah, don't take free beer in bicycle races. I mean, I don't think they are allowed to drink beer anymore in the Tour de France. But who knows? If you ever end up riding your bike there, don't take beer that is free. I wonder if I can like reduce the latency of a stream. I guess I have to ask the streamers I know about that. It would be great because it's kind of unfair if people have different timings to see the question. Or maybe I can even change the Kahoot in a way that it shows the possible answers to you directly on your device. Who knows? I will have to do some more testing. By the way, the image you see in the background right now, it shows a naturalist on an expedition, and it's one of my favorite loading screens that Angel did. It's a Amazon expedition. Thanks to you too, Nandor Mapper. Have a nice evening or day, I guess. Okay, I guess I will end this stream here. Thank you everyone for participating and have a nice rest of the day or evening or whatever it is in your time zone. Bye!